Well, thank you, Hannah, and thank you very much indeed for that kind introduction, and thank you to the British Chambers of Commerce for inviting me here today. And I'm delighted to have the chance to address so many leaders from our world-class British firms and investors from across the globe who are eager to do business here in the United Kingdom. From pharma to food processing, engineering to electronics, tech to telecommunications, your businesses are playing a pivotal role in driving forward Britain's economy as we embrace the huge opportunities ahead as an independent, outward-looking, free-trading nation. Now, it's fantastic to be back at DIT as Minister of State for International Trade. I had I guess you might call it a sabbatical for 18 months out from government, which may not be a popular view here. I resigned from the government over Heathrow Airport expansion, which the flight path comes in directly over my Chelsea and Fulham constituency. But I'm really pleased to be back in government in more or less the same position, which is also a very rare thing in government, that I occupied for 2 years after the foundation of the Department for International Trade in the summer of 2016. But I'm here to outline this government's vision for Britain as a truly global champion of international commerce on the world stage. So it is actually fitting that I speak to you here today just across the road from Westminster Abbey, where stands a huge marble memorial to a great Prime Minister who knew a thing or two about the positive power of trade. Benjamin Disraeli once said that free trade is not a principle, but an expedient, an essential tenet of a peaceful and prosperous society. He recognized the key role global commerce could play in unlocking this country's vast economic potential, setting British businesses free to buy and sell to markets worldwide. Once, ironically, an advocate of protectionism, Disraeli helped unshackle British exporters, spurring growth the length and breadth of these islands. This cleared the way for firms to build great commercial bonds across the globe that underpin our prosperity to this very day. And it is in this Disraelian spirit that we look ahead with great ambition and optimism to a new age of trade, as we embrace our future as an outward-looking nation, setting our own path in a rapidly changing world. A Britain with an economy that is able to adapt to the fast-changing demands of an increasingly interconnected and competitive global marketplace. A dynamic, ambitious Britain primed to do business with a nimbler, more fleet-footed and independent trade policy. And a Britain that stands at the forefront of the great technological revolution that is changing the face of modern business and the way that we all live and work. From AI to autonomous vehicles, 3D printing, to advanced aerospace and pharmaceuticals, to financial services, UK businesses are setting new standards for excellence. And whatever industry you're in, I have a simple message for you, that this government is on your side. We are working hard to remove barriers to trade and to help you grasp the great opportunities ahead. Fewer barriers means more opportunities for business, better jobs, higher wages, more choice, and lower prices. Now that we have taken our independent seat at the World Trade Organization, we will use our voice to champion free trade and lower barriers at every opportunity. Earlier this week, Liz Truss became the first Trade Secretary to represent the UK's independent voice at an international meeting since Peter Walker almost half a century ago when she addressed the WTO in Geneva. She made the case against growing protectionism worldwide and underlined our commitment to free trade and to the rules-based international system. And we will fight for the UK's interests, uphold the rules-based trade system, crack down on countries that flag the rules, and push for lower tariffs and lower barriers for UK exporters worldwide. The new national watchdog, the Trade Remedies Authority in Reading, will ensure British industries are backed against unfair trading practices like dumping or import surges. We will also demand a fairer deal for our allies in international talks, speaking out when bigger nations or trading blocs try to impose their will unreasonably. At the Department for International Trade, it is our job to use this newfound independence to boost British growth. We have created a world-class negotiations team, and I stress the word negotiations because we're about to embark on a number of negotiations, which is ready to deliver for Britain, ably led by our chief trade negotiator, Crawford Faulkner. We are working towards securing free trade agreements with key economic partners across the globe. We will direct them to pursue robustly Britain's economic interests, and in doing so to drive a hard bargain for all British industries and their people. We aim to have 80% of UK trade with countries covered by free trade agreements within 3 years, starting with the like-minded democracies of the United States, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and also to look at joining the Comprehensive Progressive Trans-Pacific Partnership, also known as the CPTPP, possibly the world's most difficult acronym. But these close trading relationships will help shape the global economy of the future, underpinning British prosperity for generations to come. Securing these agreements is key to our efforts to level up prosperity, deliver opportunity, and unleash the potential of every region and nation of our United Kingdom. And this week, we made a start on this historic journey by setting out our strategic approach to negotiate a new free trade agreement with the United States of America. The US is an excellent trade partner for Britain, as you all know. The world's largest economy, one of our closest allies and oldest friends. And we are actually the biggest investors already in each other's economies. Each day in the UK, 1.3 million Britons go to work for US companies, and in the United States, 1.7 million in the UK, 1.3 million Americans go to work each day for a British company. Those numbers are rising all of the time. Securing free trade deals with the US and other partners will be a key drive in helping to level up the UK. Our analysis shows that a US deal would economically benefit Scotland and the Midlands the most, followed by the North East and Wales. It'll also bring benefits right the way across the economy, actually in every region, from agriculture to business services, and we are pushing for a dedicated chapter, and actually the US is pushing for the same, to help the UK's 5.9 million small businesses, 90% of which don't currently export. For all our new trade deals will be specifically tailored to the shape of our country's economy, so they deliver greater opportunities and higher standards of living in every part of the UK. The US FTA is a crucial first step in building a global Britain, but it is just a start. And we are building on solid foundations. The UK's international trade is already booming, with exports rising 5% to £689 billion in the 12 months to December 2019, and goods exports alone increasing by 6.7% to £372 billion during the same period. But we know that Britain is capable of more. Key to our efforts to turn Britain into a global trading powerhouse will be providing the support to British businesses that they need to thrive as exporters. We're determined to open the way for firms, large or small, to take their first step into selling overseas, which is where UK Export Finance, or UKEF, that used to be the government's best kept secret, the existence of UKEF. But now it is out there and it's so important in providing that support. UKEF's mission is to ensure that no viable British export fails for lack of finance or insurance, while its world-class network of trade advisors based across the globe offer tailored advice to help British businesses access new markets. Meanwhile, our general export facility will allow an even wider range of exporters to access UKEF support. In addition, we are planning to introduce up to 10 free ports across the UK, creating national hubs for trade, innovation and commerce, and unleashing the potential of our proud historic ports as part of our levelling up agenda. Trade also courses through the heart of our industrial strategy. We have launched major sector deals partnerships between government and industry on sector-specific issues as part of our work to position Britain as one of the world's most open economies. Now, on the EU, having left the EU, we want to agree an FTA based on free trade as sovereign equals, not based on EU law or EU treaties. The government has laid out its approach for a suite of agreements with the EU, the main element of which is a comprehensive free trade agreement. This is a detailed and reasonable package that builds on the EU's own offer made of a Canada-style deal. We have already begun substantive discussions this week with the Commission on the form of our new relationship. Either way, goods will keep flowing, services will go on being provided, and business will continue to be done. So to conclude, while the EU will continue to be an important market for Britain, the IMF, of course, projects that 90% of global growth in the next 5 years is likely to come from elsewhere in the world, which is why we are working so hard to lay the groundwork for prosperous new trading relationships with countries in fast-growing regions across the globe. We have an historic opportunity before us to build a new Britain, and trade is central to this ambition, with our brilliant British businesses and international investors key to making this a reality. So let us move forward together to grasp the great benefits of this new age of British growth as we enter a bright future as a force for progress and a champion of free trade on the international stage. An ambitious, independent and global nation that Benjamin Disraeli would have been very proud of. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.